Hello everyone, I am Terry Candlestick and welcome back to Echo. This is Route 65. I've already done one path with Carl. I'm going to do Leo and Flynn today. Mostly because we've already seen a short of Jenna's, and I want to get some more on Flynn. Because I've done all these and he's got a real funny story. And also, there's going to be mostly uncut, so all the little mess ups you're just going to hear. Kind of like when Finn and I do our Echo, his live streams. So let's get into Echo, Route 65. There was a very singular echo in this ravine. The rattling of wagons resumed. Carpenters hammering at boards inside the highest rocks. The report of rifle. The lowering of cattle and braying of mules seemed to be answered beyond the mountains. Music most notably had a very queer effect and resembled a person standing inside the rock imitating every note. William Clayton, Mormon Trail Pioneer. Is that William Clayton? Is that the same William from the Smoke Room? I want to say it might have been, but I'm not sure. I don't remember his last name. No, God, I can't deal with this right now. I stare at the screen, letting my phone vibrate until it stops. I'll try to make up an excuse that it was on silent later. It had been a cringing, flustered mess. I had been a cringing, flustered mess since this morning. School and my geometry test had kept me only slightly distracted. With the call as a reminder, I feel a welling sensation around my eyes and my vision blurs. I suck in my cheeks before exuding a shaky exhale. Nothing will ever be the same anymore. My parents won't see me as normal anymore. All because I was daft enough to try to rub one out on a computer before the bus came this morning. I thought they were at work. Mom is usually out by 5 and Dad by 6, but they took the day off on account that it's their anniversary. So not only did they catch me with my pants down, prick in hand, but also found out I was gay in one fell swoop of headphone-induced lack of spatial awareness. I heard my mom scream. I was so startled I jumped. My headphones coming unplugged from my laptop, blasting Fox Stallion porn on full blast. Just when my dad came running in. I remember Mom went to her room, locked the door, and I didn't see her again before I left. Meanwhile, Dad was sort of laughing nervously before I took off to my bus stop. But I could tell from his face that this was beyond awkward for him. I couldn't bring myself to words. I just pulled up my shorts and ran to my bus stop. All throughout the day, the thought of coming home and having to face the shame was like being dunked in ice water. Each mile we travel closer to Echo increases that feeling of inevitable awfulness. I try to go over excuses in my head. Maybe I could attempt to convince them that it was straight porn. Both of the guys in the video had pretty visible beard scruff, though. I rubbed my eyes. The thought of trying to figure out what all my folks saw on the screen makes me want to retch. Well, I could say it was a virus that took control of my browser window. And it was so startling a prospect that I didn't have time to fully put on my shorts. And the erection was unrelated. Fuck. I peek through my paws at my phone screen, the symbol for a missed voicemail having appeared up top. I grit my teeth in extreme apprehension, turning the screen off and shoving my phone back into my pocket. I take a moment to recombobulate. Taking a moment to recombobulate, I look around. The bus is pretty empty besides me, with a bus driver who has been trying to get the radio to work the whole ride, and Carl in the seat adjacent to me. Carl, as usual, has his earbuds in with his expensive handheld out, playing some Japanese tactics RPG. Usually we have at least Jeremy, Clint, Heather, and Jasmine, and TJ with us, but not today. Not many kids go to the school in Peyton. Oh, not many kids who go to the school in Peyton live out in Echo. I'm pretty astonished the bus district expansion covered our town. The bus ride from Peyton to Echo usually takes about 45 minutes, though it feels much longer. Especially now. Ugh. The Ram looks up from his game to the source of the music, slightly furrow-browed. Our bus driver grins back at him through the rear mirror in a self-satisfied fashion, her gummy Cheshire Maw on full yet brief display. Realizing that she is looking back at him, Carl grunts, hunching up his shoulders a bit. Karen, why? She lets out a brief chortle. Well, seeing as I only have you two along with me today, I thought I'd put on some tunes. Make your color a little blue. Carl begrudgingly pauses his game, pulling out his earbuds and letting them hang over his horns. It was still weird seeing him like this. Around age 14, his horns developed a lot. He complained about headaches and neck strain constantly. He told me he had to see a chiropractor and stayed over because his horns were so big. His neck muscles hadn't developed enough to support them. Even now, a year later, he still sits with a sort of low, hunched posture. I'm pretty blue-collared, huh? Yeah? I live in Echo. She smirks again. Boy, I have seen the size of your manor. You ain't. No, you ain't. Never would have expected a sort like you to be so pomp and yachty-blooded. Carl doesn't say anything. His emerald gaze shifts us some to the seat in front of him. Karen takes a glug from her soda bottle with her free hand, the other steering us through an on-ramp onto the freeway. The spa day I would have on just 1 hour of your daddy's income. I'd feel bad for whoever works mani-pedi that shift. She holds up her calloused right hand, her claws rather stubbed, even for a fox's standard. When I'm not driving you squirts, I do road crew for public works. Ain't your average mom, eh? She gesticulates with a swirling motion as she speaks, then lets her hand hang limply on the steering wheel. Well, it might be the new average here soon enough. Feminism and all that. You two will learn all about it in college, I'm sure. What are you two going for, major-wise? Both of us make no quick move to respond. Chase? I shift on my seat, clearing my throat so that my voice doesn't crack. Well, I wanted to go into videography and film. But my parents weren't too fond of that, so I guess journalism and communications? Ah. Karen's abroad. Karen responds so abruptly that it makes me wonder if I said something wrong. Well, my nephew got one of them communication degrees from North Mountain State. Oh? How'd that go? Ended up being a $60,000 piece of paper that earns him $12.25 an hour fixing old farts like us computers out of some big box establishment. Nerd Squad, I think they're called. Ugh. Hell if I know. I'm still just dieting, I guess. She waves dismissively. I look over at Carl, who looks like all he wants to do is go back to playing his game. What about you, bighorns? Carl blinks some at the casual speciesism, then scratches the back of his neck. You just planning on going straight to work for your daddy right after you graduate? Mommy. Oh, Mom, actually. Oh, I don't know yet. Carl looks pretty uneasy with this topic. He also seems pretty embarrassed at having said "mummy" out loud. Were I in better spirits, I'd probably laugh. Everyone is good at something, Carl, and hopefully that is something you enjoy too. You're always quiet with your nose in that little device of yours, playing games. Maybe that's your future career, something tacky. Admittedly, Leo is usually the one who is most handy with fixing our tech. Even Carl isn't the best at video games. Carl isn't even the best at video games. That title belongs to Jazz. Carl's quiet for a bit, tugging on the strings of his hoodie. I don't know. Looking out the window, I see the sun is setting as we get within 10 or so miles of Echo. We pass the abandoned water park, which I heard closed shortly after the bypass was built and all its passerby traffic was lost. I think for a moment I see what looks like some figures in the drained pool, though when I try to squint, I don't see them anymore. You know, I was around when that place shut down. I startled some, not realizing I was being watched. Both times, actually. Once in the 60s, then again in the 80s when it reopened for a year. Was during the era of big government giving out big old water project constructions to the state for pennies, LA being the golden child. Our county, as you two squirts are aware, did not become the next Orange County. Spoilers, as my son Keith used to say. She lets out an amused grunt before sterning up some. A lot of folks lost their jobs. It was like a little Great Depression in the middle of Mormon land. Echo has been going to tits for generations, though. And not the good sort of tits either. The real ugly ones. Like those that what's-her-name wields. Miss Tethers? Yeah, her. I'm taken off guard at that comment. Mrs. Tethers is a particularly nasty history teacher at PHS, who is known for not being too keen on vulpines. She does have a kind of lopsided pair. Anyway, it's a ripe shame. By the time your kitties are having kitties themselves, this town will be a feast for termites. Well, maybe not the manor. I see Karen's silver eyes focus on Carl. The castle, as we used to call it. She says this bit rather strangely, as if trying to remember something specific. Carl is staring out the window, avoiding Karen's stare. In the 2 years we've had her as a bus driver, she has never spoken this much. Most of the time, she'd just be scolding Jeremy and Clint. I have this feeling she's been waiting for this opportunity to speak more personally with Carl for a while. As we get closer to Echo, we pass more abandoned places. Some are adorned with faded Art Deco stylings from the bygone modern era, whilst others are but rotting wood from the Mormon settlement days. In my current situation, all these familiar architectural fadings seem to evoke as a pulsating sense of dread for what is to come. Carl, your family has been here for over a century. Way I see it. Least they could do is reinvest in what they capitalized on in the first place. Can you just change the radio station? Carl's horns are pressed up against the window, his tone low but his voice loud. Oh yeah? What you want it set to? Anything but this. Carl looks down at his handheld, fidgeting with the stuff in the character screen without the focus to actually play. Fine. What do you want to listen to, Chase? He's a new kid. He wants to pop. I don't know. Nothing gets me jacked like some generic pop music. 98.1 FM should have that. What'd you say? You want this, but louder? No. No. Chase. Kill me. End my life. Maybe I'll respawn somewhere more peaceful. This is good for you, Carl. You're getting blue-collared, albeit, the hard way. If I wanted to get blue-collared the hard way, I'd borrow Jasmine's jean short shorts and stand assumingly around the motel. Covering our ears and pressing our heads to the seats in front of us, we endure the hick musical cavalcade, as Jasmine deemed the station. Glancing sidelong out the bus window, I see that we're less than a mile from home. My paw pads start to feel clammy and I clutch my knees tight. I'm fortunate that Carl is currently occupied with burying his muzzle into the faux leather of the seat in front of him as I begin to tremble. Part of me actually wants him to see. I know it's just stalling for the inevitable. But I want to talk to anyone about this. This is a small town, and whoever I speak to will know that I like guys. I'll have to deal with them knowing that fact every day till college. If I go to college. I used to hate being so damn generic. Fucking Flynn whines about how boring I am all the time. But now, all I can see are folks looking at me, seeing me as that otter who likes it up the rear, and not as generic Chase. God. That's what my parents will see me as, too. The sort of deviant who lives in their home. I imagine them looking at the photos of me around the house now and wishing they could have had that back. I've never really talked to my parents about relationships and sex stuff, and now I'm just shocking them with this whole new side of me. What an anniversary present I've given them. I look over and see Carl hunched over, his horns pushing into the seat, his gaze focused blankly upon the screen of his handheld. Upon closer inspection, the screen is completely black, the device no longer on. It seems that he's not in the best of states either. I swallow, debating disturbing him. Carl might be my best friend, but we don't really have deep talks, especially since the lake incident. Maybe I could text someone. I slide my phone out of my pocket, staring at the black screen, much like Carl is now. I realize when I get home, my parents are probably going to demand to see my phone and messages, so I'll have to remember to delete them. I try to imagine how each one of my friends would react, but this is honestly foreign ground. Only alluded to in traded insults and jokes. Flynn, especially. The lizard drops the word faggot in every other sentence as of late, though I think he just chooses it for maximum edginess. Jasmine, on the other hand, might be the most supportive with this sort of thing. However, she wasn't at school today. I eavesdropped Flynn mentioning something about issues with her parents and Jeremy to Leo, but I couldn't make out the specifics. I don't even know how Leo would react to any of this. He makes jokes about poofy stuff all the time, but I can tell there is some unease there. That leaves TJ. Carl described him once as the moral, gooey center of her sandwich of a group of friends. That being said, I'm not sure how much I can actually tell him. He's just barely crossing the puberty threshold right now. Plus the Christianity factor. I uncover one of my ears long enough to pull out my phone, my heart skipping a beat at the new voicemail notification. I quickly swipe over to my contacts. So we're gonna go with Leo. Let's talk to Leo first. Leo always has a weird sort of paternal vibe going on with him. If someone in our group is feeling down or about to make a stupid decision, he usually goes out of his way to set them straight. Jasmine says that this is largely due to the culture he comes from, the whole pack mentality thing. In truth, though, Leo is one of the first friends I ever made, back when I was like 6. I'm sort of hoping time cuts through the stigma bullshit, and he'll have an idea of what to do. My thumbpad hovers over his portrait picture in the Messenger app. Alright. Here goes nothing. So, can I talk to you for a second? I wonder if I shouldn't have done punctuation or capitalization. Maybe try to sound a little more casual? Busy, but what? But what? Shit. He doesn't have practice today, so I thought he'd be free. Managing text messaging with Leo is hard enough as it is. With him distracted, it will be even worse. Looks like I can't do it through here. I think I should talk to you about it in person. I see. Okay. God. He always does this. 2 to 3 word responses. He's still probably hanging out with the other football folk outside school. Lucky bastard has his own truck now, so he mostly doesn't come home with us anymore. I find myself biting the inside of my cheek and quickly force myself to stop. Okay? What's that mean? I stare at my phone screen for a long while, and eventually come to the conclusion that this is a waste of time. He doesn't seem to be in any hurry to respond now. I don't want to fuck this up by badgering him with my whining revelation that I apparently love cock while he'd rather be doing anything else. As familiar landmarks up the railway and the red rock of Echo Canyon come into view, out of the window, my restless anxiety returns. Steadying myself, I swipe back over to my contacts. Jasmine? He's too young. She's... What can I do, Flynn? Because he's funny. I frown to myself as my thumb pad hovers over Flynn's contact image on the Messenger app. I got Gorgonzola at the mini market in Peyton. Well, that's some timing. I honestly have no idea what this message means. Instinctively, I tried to respond with something jabby. I'm sorry, Flynn. I'm sure they have a cream for that. After hitting send, I'm not too sure that was the right move. Flynn rarely responds whenever I text him, and that probably didn't boost my odds. Looking out the bus window, I can see that we're approaching Carl's stop. It's a type of salad, you musky fuck. Oh. I thought it was a cheese? Whatever. Why are you texting me about salad? As the bus turns on to the neighborhood road, I scoot over some, speaking up to get Carl's attention. So, I'm gonna get off with you here, okay? Carl just continues staring at his blank screen for a second before blinking and looking back at me. Are you sure? That might be pretty messy, and Karen watching might give me performance anxiety. Carl stares deadpan at me. I rest my forehead into my paw and groan, though I end up snickering a bit. The bus comes to a stop. Carl, this is where you get off. Chase wants to get off too. The bus. You have a note from your folks? Shit. I look back to Carl, and he gives me a look of understanding. He unslings his backpack from his shoulder, rifling through it. Carl looks up at me briefly, mouthing one word. Stall. Like the bathroom? Ha ha! Well, that one's kind of tell a joke. I do! I make a notion of holding something up behind the seat. Carl seems to have found a pen and notepad and is scribbling hastily. So, Karen, how do you get a North Mountain grad student off your property? Karen gives me a rather dubious look, her silver gaze eyeing me up. You pay him for the pizza! Ha ha! The old fox lets out a huff that is half exasperated, half amused. What in the hell? Be aware, Chase, my nephew from North Mountain State is 6'9" and plays rugby. He might not take too kindly to that. Hey, Carl was the one who told it to me. Carl puts on a show of giving me a slight narrowed look before slugging my shoulder. I don't have nearly the same level of cushion there as the ram, so even if it's for show, it still hurts. I feel something flutter onto my lap. As I pick it up, I see that Carl has forged a note with my mother's signature near perfectly. Mother's signature style near perfectly. He knows her handwriting? Damn, Carl. You need to be a notoriety. Is that right? That what they're called? Work for the city, ask Flynn. As much as the Ram whinges about his lack of skill, his penmanship and art are not half bad. I give him a discreet, grateful look as we get up and move to exit the bus. Carl hops off first, his hooves making an audible plop noise upon the aged asphalt. However, as I move to hand my note to Karen, her calloused hand grasps my wrist instead of the note. I'm not that deaf and dumb, Kitty. I've been doing this job for a long while. She relinquishes my wrist, the note fluttering to the ground. I can feel Carl staring nervously at us from the road. You got awful comedic timing, Chase. But it was a good joke. I'll tell my nephew that one myself. She shifts some in her large driver's seat, the cadence of her voice changing some as she looks to the back of the bus. I saw you back there, puffy-eyed and trembling. Are you afraid of going home? I know how the people can be out here. She pauses, bending down to pick up the dropped note and before tossing it in the bus's trash bucket. I freeze, feeling the tips of my ears burn rosy at today's endless cavalcade of embarrassment. Especially with kids. I'm not sure what she means by that, and definitely am not about to say. I'm not sure what to say. I look back at Carl. He's averting his gaze now, his paws deep in his hoodie pockets. All right, I get it. Nobody trusts the hick bus driver to know what it's like to be a kid these days. Look, run along now. I'm sorry for, grabbing you. I'm used to them shits Jeremy and Clint doing that and getting me in trouble. I try hard and force a smile. Oh, thanks. I appreciate your concern and all. Yeah, they are pretty shitty. Hey, language, kiddo. Sorry. Also, tell Carl his fly is down. He looks like a damn fool. I see Carl stiffen, quickly reaching down and fumbling with his zipper, his neon orange Superwolf boxers visible through his fly. Karen just sighs. I feel my phone vibrate within my pocket. See you squirts on Monday. Good job, Carl. Growing up's fun, ain't it, buddy? Bye, Karen. Bye-bye. I step off the bus beside Carl and the door is shut behind me, Karen heading back toward the freeway. It gets dark so much earlier now that summer is over. Shit, really does. Echo isn't exactly a major township. The area is deemed a census-designated place, so we don't get streetlights. Carl watches the bus fade off into the distance before pulling out his phone. Can't wait until I get my own car and license. He starts texting. Letting my parents know that you're coming over. We should troll around on that 3D virtue chat game again tonight. I spent some money and got myself this big bag, this big luchador avatar, except they gave him big old breasts. He's called Mamaria. He looks up at me with a smirk before turning and walking. How much did you spend? I follow, pulling out my own phone. Was texting my aunt. It was sent to you. I don't know. I was just grabbing what I needed. $15 maybe? Oh. To Flynn. That's a lot for one of those kind of games. Especially just for clothing. So, not to Flynn. So, can I talk to you about something? Well, like, the luchador mask I wanted was one of the premium items, so it costed the most. Everything else was dirt cheap. Every single girl in that game uses the same hair. The long, curly, blonde one that costs like $1. Now, Flynn? What? Carl? At least they say they're girls. My parents caught me looking at gay porn this morning, and I don't know what to do. To Flynn. I'm just trying to be unique. Otherwise, what's the point? It is a social role-playing game. Why risk getting ignored? Jesus fucking Christ, Chase. I haven't told anyone else yet, and I don't know what to do. I, actually have another account with a character that is more normal looking. What in fucking hell made you pick me to drop this shit on? Has someone told you something? I made him after you left last time. God, I don't know, and no one has told me anything. He's like this big primate-looking dude with burn scars everywhere and this kinda albino-y face. How'd your parents take it? Okay, how'd your parents take it? Now, Carl. I had the idea for the character sort of based off a dream I had once. I don't know, kind of badly, I think. I didn't stick around, had to catch the bus. Anyway, I went to a lot of the in-game hotspots at first. A lot of the stuff you and I saw when we were just messing around. I just don't want to go home right now. It is sort of like you said, that most of the people there are just middle-aged housewives who can barely type a sentence. But then I sort of went off-grid, I guess you'd call it. Like the hotspots that aren't advertised on the destination finder. I started finding a lot of weird shit. I'm unloading freight tonight. I'd tell you to call Jazz since she's better with this sort of shit, but I can't get a hold of her. I can't get a hold of her either. Like, weirder than the shit we were making ironically. Yeah? Shit. Should I go check up on her? There were these places which looked more like real-life houses, not the usual fantasy exotic stuff. Just people living in virtual families in these boring-ass looking homes, complete with framed photos of screenshots of their characters. I was going to after work. Her tit-dirt parents have been cunty as of late. You can if you want, but doubt your pansy-ass self can handle Jer if he's there. I don't care if he's there. I don't care if him and Clint are there. Okay. I got the impression that a lot of them were like foreign. Look, don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but Leo is going to this party thing tonight. You should go too. Or not. I don't care. I walked into this one flat with these two horse ladies in it. They had decorations with Middle Eastern words everywhere, but they seemed normal enough. A party? Not an echo, right? What is it for? The election? They had a TV item which just displayed a slideshow of photoshopped photos of them with a baby. When I started exploring the house, I ended up walking to the nursery and they got really pissy. It's for Day of the Dead. That's today. Bunch of jocks and townie types are gonna be there. Route 65 at Parsons Manufacturing. Let me just make sure. Didn't miss anything. Okay. Did Leo mention it? Leo didn't mention it when I saw him. You going? I thought about trolling, you know, and writing, "Eat the baby!" and hopping up and down on the crib, but I don't know. It just felt like this weird mix of awkward and sad. I just said I'll be working, and when I get off, I'm heading to Jasmine's. Fucking deduce, school paper boy. I was just curious. Fuck you. Jace? Are you listening? Carl was standing in front of me with a concerned expression on his face. It takes me a moment to respond. Yeah, just texting Flynn. He's actually responding to you? Yeah, I know. I look up the street, Carl's house sitting in its amber glowing glory atop the hill slope. Apparently there's a party happening tonight. Carl raises an inquisitive brow. Like, here or in general? I'm not sure what you mean by in general, but yeah, around here. It's for Day of the Dead. Leo and I think maybe Flynn got invited. What? They didn't mention it to me at all. And I had asked them to their faces if they had any plans. I shrug. Flynn made it sound like it was mainly just Peyton people coming out here. Yeah, but it is weird they wouldn't mention that. That sounds about like the most exciting thing that will happen around here for months. Carl looks off to the side, shifting his posture some. I'd rather just stay home and play Virtue with you anyway. But seriously, what the fuck? The idea that two of our closest friends were keeping this a secret, did make me feel pretty shitty. On top of all the other sensations of general shittiness I feel right now. Is that the Parsons Manufacturing building, you know, off Route 65? That's sort of in the ass end of nowhere for a party. Maybe it's like a rave or something? I shrug again. I think we should go. Carl blinks, his expression akin to as if I just asked to rub his horns. Dude? He lets out a little huff, rubbing the back of his head. First of all, we weren't invited. Second, it's the middle of nowhere. Third, isn't Day of the Dead for like... He pulls his paw away from his beanie long enough to swirl it around gesticulation as he tries to phrase this right. Latin folk? My blood's as apple pie as it gets, dude. Alright. First, Leo is there. So I don't see him not getting us in. Though, it was weird that he didn't invite us in the first place. Second, we live in the middle of nowhere. Anything local happening is technically in the middle of nowhere. which still doesn't make it any more safe. Third, well, I don't know. I assume nothing too culturally sensitive is taking place in an abandoned factory, which won't save us from sticking out like a sore thumb. Carl exhales through his flared nostrils, lolling his head up as if being throttled by how much of a bad idea this is. Dude. He looks back down at me, a taut frown upon his muzzle. I don't know. I guess I'm kinda curious. Worst case, we stop in, smack Leo, and then make like Flynn's fetish and scat. Best case, we stop in, smack Leo, and they have food. I'd rip your tail off for a cheese quesadilla right now. Don't do that. My phone buzzes in my grip. You're welcome. I gotta go. Try not to suck too much cock on your way there. So it begins. That's good advice from Flynn. I don't know if you're gonna hold out the whole way, though. Glancing over with a start, I realize that Carl is leering over my shoulder, squinting at my phone. Christ! I exhale, turning my phone's screen off. Yeah, I'll try my best. Carl lets out a brief, breathy bit of laughter before pulling out his phone. Lying to your parents' time? Yep, your fault too. What should I say? Hanging at my house, that you're hanging out at Leo's, working on an art project. Tell the truth. Well, you can't do that. I see you're working on an art project. Pretty much is, I guess. What day of the dead and all that shit. Okay. Carl texts something into his phone before moving along in the opposite direction we were walking before. I'm honestly surprised he accepted. His social anxiety is pretty bad at school. Maybe it's just that kind of night. I follow suit and walk alongside Carl. Can't wait till I get my license and car. I mentioned that already, right? Yeah? Route 65 is like 3 miles away. You can get your fetlocks toned and ready for the dance floor, though. I see Carl's posture stiffen some at that prospect, his bright green eyes looking to the asphalt beneath us. You don't actually think there's gonna be dancing, is there? Like the movies and shit? I shrug. Something I'd been doing a lot this night. Growing up in a town with less than 60 people has made what seems like a conventional teenage experience on TV seem utterly foreign. The closest our group of friends had to such were birthday parties with just us 6 and our folks. Leo's dad let us drink a can of beer once. I always imagined high school parties were just a bunch of kids sitting on couches and smoking weed. But this is Echo, so... Meth? Do you think Leo would go to a party where everyone smoked meth? I didn't think Leo would go to a party and not tell us. I pause, dipping my paws into my pockets. I wonder if Leo thinks we're not cool. Carl actually turns to look at me, then quickly averts his gaze to the ground. Dude. I'd think that after all the shit we've been through, that wouldn't matter. The serious statement from him takes me off guard, and I feel instantly guilty for broaching that topic. I nod, solemnly, another long pause drifting between us. Yeah. Carl tells me more about the 3D virtue chat and some girls he met on there as we walk. Girls being stated with quotation fingers at each time. I had tried talking with guys online myself, though, like Carl. Never with my real identity. I remember I was feeling lonely 2 months ago and posted a personal M/M ad on the Peyton List website. 18-year-old otter here looking for friend/mentor was the tagline. I included a cropped and photoshopped picture of myself at Peyton Rec Center pool, my face blurred. Since I went through puberty a couple years ago, I was pretty sure I could pass for 18 if my face was hidden. I was wrong. My post was taken down, and I got a few emails from administrators asking all sorts of questions. It really hasn't been my best past few months. Eventually, we reached the Parsons Building, an establishment that closed many of my lifetimes ago from the looks of it. About 10 or so cars and motorcycles are parked alongside the building, and neon blue light emanates from the inside. The thump of bass is palpable even out here on the road. I look over to Carl. All his lackadaisy demeanor on the way here has been replaced by tight-lipped tension. To be honest, I'm feeling pretty similar. I don't see anyone outside here. Everyone must be inside. We just got to get in and look for Leo's big red ass. Or, his face. Any idea what we should say when we see him? Hi, Leo. Is a good start. Okay, sounds good. Cool. Neither of us moves. God, dude. What if it's a rave? Do people actually still have raves? I don't know. But I'm getting really bad vampire cult vibes from all this. Let's check around the back first, alright? Boo! Oh, what the fuck? Carl practically leaps, swatting at the air around him as he gets some distance. Language? Oh, jeez. Sorry, Carl. I didn't know I'd scare you that badly. Carl stares wide-eyed at the sheeted visage before his eyes go to a lull. Oh. Hey, TJ. I legitimately thought you were about to start bleeding there, Carl. Real specious, dude. What are you doing here, Tish? And why are you dressed like a ghost? My mom dropped me off about 2 minutes ago. I couldn't believe you guys walked here. Mom would have given you a ride if you asked. Not that I'm against you guys getting exercise or anything. I think Carl winces slightly. As for the costume, my mom and I put this together at the last minute. I didn't get to go trick-or-treating yesterday because of church stuff, so Mom said now would be my chance with this party. Even under that fabric, I can still picture TJ grinning cheerfully. It is such a contrast to the past few hours with Carl. A contrast to this whole day, actually. That's very considerate of your mother, TJ, but, never mind. How did you get invited to this, but not us? TJ tilts his ghostly head curiously. My mom just told me she heard about this fun get-together here and said it would be a good way to treat myself after volunteering yesterday. I didn't really think I needed one. There's a pause. Oh gosh, I've never crashed a party before. Should we just go home? Carl and I exchange a look. Flynn told me that Leo would be here tonight, actually. Huh? He didn't mention anything of that nature to me. I'm sure he just forgot to, though. Carl steps off the roadway and onto the smooth concrete of the entranceway, trying to get a stealthy look from afar. If you say so, man. I mean, it's okay to have a +1, right? But there are 3 of us. See Leo in there, Carl? Carl is silent for a long moment. I see Jack. Who? Carl looks back to me. Jack shit. You might know him. I furrow my brow at Carl. TJ physically covers his ears with his enshrouded paws. I hear the lynx mutter a faint, "Stop." Is it weird that we've been out here the whole time and no one has come outside? Like, I'd assume people want to come out for air to smoke and make out. They might be doing that inside. What? No! TJ's eyes bulge. What kind of party is this? TJ brings his paws together, wringing them as he looks at us expectantly. Well, we don't know, TJ. I kinda hope that you would. The sort that Leo and TJ go to without inviting or even telling us, apparently. Bitterness still hangs in Carl's tone as he rocks nervously upon his hooves. I'm honestly still upset about it myself, too. This is the sort of thing I'd like us all to do together. Our first real party, as a group. I don't feel nearly as confident without him with us. By the way TJ and Carl are acting, I think it's the same for them too. I suppose Leo just has that effect on people. Oh God. How in the hell am I even getting bars out here? Fuck this. I hit ignore and walk past Carl toward the blinding cyan light of the broken entryway. Dude, wait! Chase! I step inside and am instantly greeted with the musty smell of dozens of years of structural decay. The scent of dust, drywall, and stray fiberglass insulation mixes with the more modern aromas of alcohol, perfume, and scented candles. Looking around, there are actually quite a few lit candles lying around, their flames contrasting with the colored gel-matted halogen lighting. Whoever set this up must be a theater tech kid. With all the candles, I actually agree with Carl's notion that this is a bit vampire cozy feeling. The music certainly isn't helping. I had expected something a lot more... I don't know. Leo calls it oompa oompa music. The stuff with trumpets and accordions we get on the Spanish stations. Still no sign of anyone. This is actually getting kind of spooky. Hey, wait up, Chase! TJ and Carl come bounding in behind me. The acoustics in here are nuts. Why is it empty? I don't know. I don't hear anyone yet. That's weird. Well, let's split up, gang, and search for clues. TJ and I Both look over at Carl, who has a flat expression on his face. I'm joking. I'm literally fine with us holding Tails' chainsaw at this point. I'm okay with just walking normally. I love the writing. I was just like, it is something kids would say. I'm trying to channel my inner teenager. I don't know if it's working. With that, TJ steps up, following until we walk around the corner through a cobwebbed hallway and into the main manufacturing floor. Here, we finally see some people. This is certainly no rave. I count only about 15 or so people at the far end of the room and a few more in the rooms behind them. Most seem to be surrounding a metal keg, though a group of about 6 girls looks to be gathered around what looks like a yearbook. I only recognize 1 or 2 of them, and even then, only vaguely. Oh, I think I see Heather by the barrel thing. JJ points a sheeted paw toward a feline girl by the keg. Heather has a blue Solo cup in hand and is laughing at one of the guys around her. Heather is one of the girls who rides our bus. She lives out on the outskirts of Echo. She's not really a part of our group. I just know her dad is responsible for maintaining the reservoir dam. We just learned about that in Jenna's route. Or we will learn about that in Jenna's route. We will. I have a feeling what's in the keg isn't fruit punch, and feel pretty boggled at how TJ's mom was the one to send him here. Meanwhile, looking at Carl, I see that pretty much all his snark is dissipated once again. He stands in the doorway of the hall. The people in front start to notice us, nudging their friends and pointing. Some snicker, though most just look confused. Especially at TJ in his ghost costume. Feeling eyes upon him, the lynx lifts up his sheeted arms. Ooh! Ooh! I'm a ghost! He approaches the grouping in character. Happy Day of the Dead! 'Cause I'm a ghost! I don't think he knows what that even is. The confused expressions seem to amplify. As TJ nears, it looks like he's attempting to hug Heather. Having not been paying much attention behind her, she turns right at the last second, the length wrapping his ghostly arms around her in a tight hug. She screams and all eyes shift to her and TJ. Get the fuck off of me! Oh my god! The surprised lynx lurches back with a startle, right as Heather shoves his chest. He goes colliding into the floor with a hard thump, dust splaying everywhere. The others around Heather exclaim distress. What the fuck, man? Who are you? Get off her, you fucking... Oh wait, these are all girls, right? So these girls have got frogs in their throats, bro. What the fuck, man? Who are you? Get off of her, you fucking creep! Emilia, go get Derek. Heather, it's just Chase. No, I'm Chase. That's TJ. Heather, it's just TJ. Despite my shouting, I don't think anyone hears me, or at least understands me. They mostly all sound inebriated, judging from the slurs in their voices. I see one of the girls at the yearbook table get up and fast walk into the bathrooms. That's a girl, 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 that's a girl. That's a girl, 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 girl. Even the camera's a girl. I try to run up to TJ's side, but a large coyote steps in from a back room and blocks my path. He has a look in his eyes that seems to say he's looking for a fight. TJ, meanwhile, lays on the floor with his white sheets coated in factory dust. From the sniffling noises I hear beneath the costume, I can tell he is crying. A stumbling coyote girl nudges him with her foot before emptying the contents of her cup on his sheeted head. That might be her. Another, equally drunk wolf attempts to pull her back, nearly tipping them both over. She puts on a dazed expression of motherly scolding. Yo, Maria, what the fuck? Don't pour booze on our rape ghost. We honor our dead bad touchers this night. For some reason, this comment makes a fellow fox next to Heather bristle. Say fox fellow? I'm gonna say it's a dude. Heather, is this the guy you was talking about? The far who... His fists clench. Heather, meanwhile, seems to be crying now, too, for some reason, her mascara matting the fur around her eyes. She just keeps repeating, I can't fucking believe this, over and over while her friends try to console her. What the hell are you talking about? Leave him alone! The older coyote in front of me is not having any of this. He snarls. Where's sick of you sick fuckers? I don't know any of you besides her. So next to Heather yells back, you leave Heather the fuck alone, musk shit. I look behind me and see that Carl is no longer in the doorway or in here with us. The fox guy seems to be trying to drag TJ now, limply smacking his sheeted head as the length tries to pull back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is a misunderstanding or something. Fuck! Leo! Leo, are you here? The coyote grabs my shirt, pulling at me with enough force that my muzzle ends up smacking into his trucker hat brim, knocking it off his head. I managed to swat his paw away, though not before one of the girls screams in my direction. Oh my god! It's attacking Derek! What the hell? No, I'm not! With Derek snarling at me as he recombobulates, I weigh my options. I legitimately don't know how to fight. Flynn said that I wouldn't be good at it if I tried because of my shitty otter arms. I look down at my arms. They are rather shitty. I just have to go get help. The cacophony of screaming and snarling from around TJ is insane. These people are on fucking drugs or something. I hold up the flat of my paws to the dehydrated coyote. Holy crap, I can't talk. I'm not trying to fight you. I just want to get TJ. The coyote swing thrusts his arm out, getting a glancing blow with his fist against my chest. Stumbling back, I scramble to my feet, taking one final look at the fetal position TJ before turning to run. The coyote latches onto my shoulder, yanking me back. Something hard smacks into my skull and I feel my mind rattle. I lurch back, essentially butt-bumping the coyote as my ears ring from the prior blow. I feel like I'm walking like a zombie now, staggering toward the door as my vision blurs. Thank you, game. Is this what being knocked out feels like? I clench my fists and keep up my pace, trying to blink the blurriness away. Eventually, I reached the entrance. Carl! Leo! As I reach the outside, my knees lock and I drop to the concrete. The impact rattles my bones as I catch myself with my wrists, just barely managing to avoid falling directly on my muzzle. I take in a deep breath. I'm still conscious. At least half conscious. I continue crawling, trying to ignore the throbbing pain. Carl! Shouting now, my voice sounds foreign to me. Shrill, childlike, pathetic, undulating, increasingly hoarse. Leo! My voice shouldn't be this croaky. I've barely talked today. I'm in the middle of the road now. Where's Carl? I should get out of here before a car comes. I pull myself along the asphalt, feeling my skin scrape beneath my fur. I want to stand, but I'll probably just fall again. And so I keep crawling, rolling into what seems like some sort of detention basin. I stare up at the sky, fighting the sudden fatigue and gritting my teeth through pain. At first I think it's blood that got into my eyes, but upon rubbing them I realize that isn't the case. The sky is different. Like someone slapped one of those colored gel matte filters over it. What the hell? I rub my eyes again, attempting to focus. I can't stay here. TJ's in deep shit. Those idiots. Those assholes. I suck in a deep breath through my teeth. Sucking in a sharp breath through my teeth. I rise to a stand, praying my knees don't lock up again. Find Carl. Find Leo. I stumble out of the detention basin, feeling packed soil beneath my feet. A dirt road. Looking behind me, I realize I must have crawled farther than I thought. Parsons looks over a mile away. That can't be right. I see a van ahead. It looks rusted and old, but there's a light on inside. I step stiff-leggedly down the road a ways, reaching the bend where the vehicle sits. The same redness that the sky is tinted with pulsates from the interior. I try to speak, but no words come from my throat. It's like a dream. I want to do the rational thing and announce myself, but I can't. I move closer, peering into the dusky back window. Inside the window is another window, and in that window, a little red dot in the corner flashing on and off. In the window, within a window, there is a writhing, flashes of fur contorted and undulating in constant restless motion. Something is trying to hold it in place. I hear a clap, and a cry. The clapping continues, louder now, rhythmic yet singular applause. "This is what you want," says the voice that cried. I stare, slowly finding the will to speak. "No, I need my friends." "Do you know where they are?" Maybe that's supposed to be Sam? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna say it's Sam. "This is what you want," says the voice that cried. I stare, slowly finding the will to speak. "No, I need to help my friends." "Do you know where they are?" The voice shifts some, more urgent. We heard gunfire coming from the town. It's real bad. Gunfire? I didn't hear gunfire. I didn't hear anything. Please, help me find my friends. We can't find them all now. We need to go. They're lost. No, they're not. I'll keep looking. I'll keep looking myself. You're just going in circles. I feel tears well within my eyes, a lump in my throat, containing a choked sob. Please. The van's back doors open. I'm standing too close and they push me onto my back. The red light is gone now, replaced by darkness, shifting shadows within. I see them now. Tarantulas, their 8 legs fuzzed with white and rust-colored stripes. They're on me with haste, 2 of them, one on each of my arms. They bite so hard, so quickly, I can't yell. They pull and tug at me, another pair at my legs. I'm pulled up and into the van, my body stretched upon a squishy something that begins to sink against my arms and legs. There's no more light, and I stare, paralyzed, at what I think is the ceiling of the van in the pitch blackness. Oh my god, can you hear it in the back? I actually hear like that distorted voice. Oh, that's cool. It feels like restraints are binding me in place. I try to adjust my eyes to the darkness, but everything is blurry and unclear. My head throbs like a heartbeat, the pangs of pain unrelenting. My fur bristles. Where did the spiders go? Breathing becomes more difficult, as if the oxygen in the van is running out. I feel the veins in my neck bulge as I try to gasp for large breaths, but my body is not my own. Lights pop as the ringing in my ears intensifies. Something is above me. I can sense it. Oh god. I remember that. Oh shit. There's a garbled muttering coming forth from it, as if spoken through a poorly tuned AM radio. It sounds like me. Have you ever killed anyone? My eyes wrench open. I'm being dragged. Realizing I have control of my basic motor functions now, I stomp my foot down, staggering free of the grasp and pushing myself against the doorway. I raise my fists defensively, my eyes adjusting to the light. Just! The red wolf, stares gobsmacked at me. Puta madre, alter! I lower my paws, trying to get a sense of where I am. That same musty smell means that I'm probably back in Parsons, in front of what looks like an old first aid center of some kind. To think that workplace accidents at these sort of places were so common they needed one of these. Meanwhile, Leo is gawking at me, his eyes intense, searching. I look down and notice that his knuckle fur is matted with dried blood. I swallow, clearing my throat. The hoarseness is gone, but the pain everywhere else sure isn't. Hey, Leo. Out of all the questions I have, one pushes its way to the forefront. Is TJ okay? The wolf continues to stare at me as if I were some sort of alien. Yeah. He is now. Now he is. I see his nostrils flare, disbelief and anger in his eyes. His mom's on the way here to pick him up. Heather is down there fucking doing a mix of apologizing and puking. I just left him for a minute to check back on you. He folds his arms across his chest, leaning against the windowed wall beside me. There's a brief silence, and I feel his gaze swivel back down to me, as intense as before. How did this happen? Why were you two here? Lilo's accent is thick now as he tries to speak faster than he can process the words in his head. Part of the question has me concerned, though. Just you two? Where's Carl? He was with me before. Well, before that dick with the trucker hat hit me. I see Leo's jowls rear back in a silent snarl. He looks down the hallway. He starts to shout at someone named Emilia. Though I quickly realize he's speaking Spanish. A feminine voice down the hall retorts, also in Spanish. Leo looks back ahead and grunts, closing his eyes for a moment. Then, rather suddenly, they reopen, the big wolf turning to me. What? So you said Carlo was here? I nod, then regret it because my head feels like a mashed apple. I haven't seen him since lunch. He was. You told him you weren't doing anything today, but Flynn told us otherwise. Leo doesn't actually look surprised at the reveal, though visible guilt hangs heavy upon his usually confident face. He doesn't immediately respond, instead staring at my battered self in silence. My phone vibrates, though when I check my pockets, it isn't there. There's a palpable, sheepish moment when my ears flick towards the source. Leo. The wolf blinks, then awkwardly hands me my phone from his own pocket. We had to call TJ's mom. You're the one with the phone that can get signal pretty much anywhere, so I tried yours. I'm sorry, I just got signal. Please be okay, dude. I'm fine now. TJ's getting picked up. I am here with Leo. I hear the sound of someone fiddling with the stereo and an auxiliary cord on the factory floor. Some arguing about the music choices ensues. It seems that some people are still around for the party after all. So, what all do you remember out of curiosity? I don't have amnesia, so relax, whatever your name is. I felt the back of your head, Puchita. You've got the welt the size of a goose egg. I reach up and run my fingers over my scalp, the bump rather prominent. All right, well, I regale him with the events of the night up to TJ's bullying. Those downy shits were saying you were pushers trying to harass Heather for some dates. Fucking what? Yeah, I don't know, Alter. Fuck. I kept calling for you. He looks surprised and scowls the concrete floor between his feet. I should have been there to protect all of you. Seems like someone won the battle for the aux cord in the other room as the music starts up again. Yep. Still vampire culty. Heh, well, I got hit so hard the sky turned red for a bit. Leo's eyebrow raises some. I see his eyes move toward my head bump again. I remember stumbling around outside, looking for you and Carl. I felt like I was walking for ages. The last thing I remember was a van. I see Leo shift, his shoulders rising, Up as high as they can go. That thing he does when he's tense. He looks at me expectant. See anything else? My brow furrows as I try to recall exactly what transpired. I remember it felt so much different than it does now in hindsight. I think I must have passed out then. Everything else is too hazy to recall. Recall, without sounding insane, is more like it. Leo's shoulders lower. He seems to be in thought now. I found you outside on the road. I thought you had been hit by a car or something. And when I got to TJ, you wouldn't stop crying and smelled like booze. Not that I'm trying to sound like your mom's here, but you had me crazy worrying. He rubs at his raw knuckles. Got into it with that Fox guy after that. It has been, a weird night. Why are you even here, man? He's taken visibly off guard by that question. The people here are friggin' nuts! He sighs and slowly lowers himself to a sitting position against the wall on the floor. He motions for me to do the same next to him, and I do, dusting away any leftover broken glass first, though. A few people from the football team were going. Also, this one person invited me and I wasn't going to tell them no. I'm about to ask who that was, but I'm interrupted fairly quickly. I saw your texts with Flynn. I feel a cold tingle creep from my spine to my fingertips at those words. I should be feeling angry about this complete invasion of my privacy, but I don't. I just feel paralyzed. I've known Leo since he didn't speak a lick of English, playing video games with me and Jasmine after school. He'd just imitate what we said with a big dumb smirk on his muzzle, as if he was saying something profound. I remember he really got hooked on the phrase, "Double dunk that sucker!" I had been yelling it at Jazz for like 3 hours when we were trying to beat this platformer game I forgot the name of. From then on, every time one of us was feeling down or facing some challenge, he'd tell us to double jump that sucker with that same smirk. I look up over to Leo now, trying to gauge his feelings, but his expression is indiscernible. Fucking Flynn. Why him? You know you can talk to me. I wouldn't have even gone to this thing. He gestures to our surroundings. 2 girls I haven't seen before walked by us in the hall without even a passing glance. I look down, staring at my paws. I went from having the chills to feeling like my face is on fire. I tried messaging you first, remember? You said you were busy and never responded back. Leo's brow furrows and he roughly presses his fist against his forehead. Oh, fuck me. Really? That's what you were going on about earlier? I thin my lips, looking up at him tentatively. Yeah, really. Shit. What were you busy with? Wolf gives me a sidelong look, a tentative expression tugging at his jowls. Don't change the subject. Don't change the topic, Alter. I'm not changing the topic. Hearing my own voice, I sound a hell of a lot more pathetic than adequately defensive. I try waiting for the girls nearby to be completely out of earshot, but they stop in the hall and start showing each other something on their phones. Leo follows my gaze, letting out a quiet huff. Come with me. He rises to his feet, pulling me up by my wrist. Not having much of a choice as I'm tugged like a rag doll, I comply. Winding our way through the remnants of the partygoers, I failed to recognize anyone. One or two say hi to Leo as we pass, though most outright ignore me. I'm increasingly self-aware of how plain I look in contrast to the ripped, plaid-donning, pierce-faced, and spike-haired crowd. The t-shirt and cargo shorts look must not be really in at the moment. We finally stop in front of one of the back exits. There doesn't seem to be food, booze, or drugs in this part of the factory, so we're alone. Once again, Leo turns his expectant gaze upon me, his brow knit. However, by now, my nerves have evened out slightly, and I decide to counter the earlier question. Why do you care so much that I told Flynn and not you? You didn't tell me about all this. So you're queer now, eh? I get that. Just folk. You could do so much better than Flynn. What the hell? I'm not trying to court him. I just needed someone to talk to, okay? He's not gay. He is. What? He screws boys, loads of them. I thought you knew. I don't speak to Flynn as much as we did when we were younger, especially since what happened at the lake. He usually goes off and does his own thing as of late, extra moody like. Leo would tease that he's going through an emo phase. Meanwhile, Carl says he's just Asperger's and french fries. I guess I haven't really talked with him personally enough to see past that. Have you? Have I what? Screwed boys? My eyes bulge in such a sharp reaction that even Leo holds up the flats of his paws defensively. Oh, shit! Alright! Oh, you really are new to this, huh? You could say that, yeah. My parents didn't know until this morning. Or, I guess, last morning now. I saw. That grew rough, yeah? I cross my arms over my chest, letting my chin low down as I stare at the dusty concrete floor. I'm gonna try to see if TJ is still out there and get a ride home with him. I'll leave you be with your friends. I turn, beginning to move when I hear a growl from behind me. Ah, Puchita! He grabs my shoulder, spinning me around to face him again. Why'd you have to be like this, eh? I didn't choose to be like this, Leo. Oh, your adorable Daphnis. Do you know how happy I was when I read those texts? It was like a fucking fantasy, you know? Then I started wondering why you didn't tell me. And then I got all mad, and I ruined this. You didn't even know he was, you know, like us. It takes me a second to process being called adorable, a fantasy, and the reveal from Leo himself. I blink up at him. He blinks back at me. The wolf bites his tongue for a moment, trying to think before speaking. I wish I could go back in time and redo this. I'll kick the huevos. I'll kick the huevos in of whatever school hurts you. I'll protect you from here on out, and I won't hide things from you. You are the fucking gold nuggets in the shit mine, yeah? I wouldn't be any different than the shroshed up bastards if it hadn't been for you guys. I think back to when we were little, yeah? I don't remember any of what you were saying, but I remember being happy because of you and Jazz. And you know, as you grew and shit, I started seeing you different, like. You made me happy when I was around you before. But now it's like, I don't know, Walter, I can't describe it well. Just a whole new type of happy. Like, you know, I fucking love you. But I love you, you know? So, final point, don't fuck Flynn. My face starts to tingle, my heart thudding so loud in my chest I'm sure Leo can hear it. I inhale shakily. This can't be happening. I must still be dreaming. I'm cut off as I spy an awkward young shadow leering in the doorway, something bulky in his paws. Leo notes my shifted attention, turning about face to the figure. I see Leo's muscles tense beneath his t-shirt. Just don't leave. I'll be back in just a second. Yeah, sure. Anything. I bump my knuckles together, watching the large wolf move to the doorway. I see him grab the shadowy figure by the shoulder, trying to shift him away a little. The unknown guy thrusts what looks like a camera bag and tripod toward Leo. Leo shoves it right back. I see the wolf leaning close, his grip tightening on the other. He mutters something. The shadow whinges, his head back. I think he's looking at me. Starting to feel rather awkward, I approach the two. As I do, however, the figure departs back towards the main factory floor. I'm never hanging out with anyone but those in our group from here on out, I swear, man. He curses something in Spanish under his breath. Probably puta madre. I used equipment like that before when I had to do a video story for the school news. The AV club rents them out to students for school projects. Are you, working on a school project? I see Leo's muzzle pull into a tight-lipped hold. He steps forward, taking hold of my shoulders. No, for love of God, just, please, don't ask me about it again. His demeanor seems more akin to begging than annoyance, flickers of fear in his eyes. I stand in his grasp, slack-jawed. This is beyond strange. I can tell he's serious about his request. All right, but just... Leo, are you okay? I just want to get back to town with you, yeah? I guess I can respect that request. I'm assuming TJ's already been picked up by now. The last I saw of the length, he was crying in a beer-soaked puddle. I feel like a complete asshole for not checking in on him in person. Though, at least I wasn't as bad as Carl, who straight up fled home. Poor TJ is probably blaming himself for everything, too. Meanwhile, it turns out Leo is gay, and likes me, and despite everything, the stuff he described feeling about me, I feel about him. My emotions are so damn conflicted right now. This emo vampire-y music is actually resonating with me. Leo releases my shoulders and moves toward the back door, tugging at it a few times. He huffs some, then gives it a hard kick with his foot. One of the hinges snaps, and the door falls into a hanging diagonal position. With a swift stop, the other two hinges snap off as well, leaving the metal door on the floor. We could have gone out the front. Well, he stares at the door. He stares at the door at his feet before looking up at me. Wouldn't have been as rebellious. You like destruction of property, don't you? I break a mirror at one rest stop when I was 8. Because you didn't get the toy you wanted in your kiddie meal. He smiles he smiles teasingly at me, the moonlight illuminating his backside. I can see the faint purples in the sky of inevitable sunrise as well. Hey, you know we don't have fast food joints like that around here. That was my one chance at getting that figurine from that stupid dinosaur movie. Your end was so damn bloody. I thought you were the coolest. There's a pause. I stepped past him into the fresh, far less musty air. The faint scent of Leo's cologne now more palpable. I crossed my arms, staring down the rusty metal of the fire escape-like stairwell. I still do. Oh, bullshit, man. I try to maintain a healthy amount of skepticism for his words now. Though looking at him now, and having known Leo long enough, I don't sense any visible signs of deception. My dad actually suggested I'd be a decent journalist, since I'm pretty good at reading people and their emotions. Though, he might have just said that to try to dissuade me from videography. Leo begins to descend the stairwell, keeping his paws hovering above the guardrail just in case. I pull out my phone, using the screen as a flashlight for us. I'm serious. You act so damn level-headed all the time. Everyone else in our group, not to be insulting them or nothing caused their family, but they can be pretty out there, eh? You're always so calm and balanced, though. You mean generic and boring, man. Nah, like, you're always hanging in the background, almost invisible-like. And then you say some snarky shit and everybody loses it. You're observant, yeah? Like Flynn, but less of an insulting shit about it. My parents, my siblings, they love you, dude. Mom's always asking me when Chase is gonna come around again. We reach the end of the stairwell. The insides of my ears probably ruby red at this point. The back lot of Parsons is mainly composed of old piles of dirt and some foundation, like they were planning on expanding before they shut down. I'm not gonna fuck Flynn. You can ease up on the compliments. I turn and smirk at Leo, a little in disbelief that those words just left my mouth. We start walking. Good. I have no clue what you're into, actually. Honestly. Leo looks at me a little warily, that same guilty expression crossing his muzzle once again. And, you know, muscles, I guess. I see Leo's eyes light up, his mouth pulling into a fangy grin. It actually is a pretty frightening visage in the middle of the night, where anyone but Leo. Editors, man. You should come to more of my games if you want to see those. The internet exists too. Yeah, and how'd that work out for you earlier? I feel that pang of remembrance and the ensuing feelings of shame all over again. This whole night did exactly what I wanted, after all. Distracted me from my problem. I feel Leo's eyes on me, his face softening. He places his paw on my back. You missed a lot this season. You weren't even at homecoming. The tickets were like $30. I was saving up for that multiplayer driving sim game with Carl. We eventually played it for like 3 hours and never touched it again. We won by only a few points. I got 2 touchdowns. If you were there, I would have pointed to the stands where you were and everything. Embarrass the shit out of you, yeah? I wouldn't be embarrassed. I'd be... well, I am proud of you. In the past, I had vocally lamented Leo's ascension to jockhood, especially his douchebag townie teammates. Bah! Now it's Leo's turn to be dubious. He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth, shaking his head. You and Coral just think I'm a different person now that I play varsity. Carl and I Carl and I would poke fun at him about it, and I think our jokes genuinely upset him. I've never really properly apologized about all that. In reality, I just didn't like the fact he spent most of his after-school time at practice. I miss him. You're not. You've always been a block-headed ball slinger. That hasn't changed. Leo lets out a deep chortle. You're going to join the cheerleading squad now? For me, Walter? Pfft, I ain't flexible enough for that. You think I can do a high kick? No, but I'd pay $1 to see you try. Coming to a stop, I looked down at my stubby legs. $1 is $1. That's 1/4 of what I need to get a burger at the diner. You're not going to film this too? The wolf's shoulders tense, his gaze snapping to me. Jess, you said I wouldn't ask you about it. Doesn't mean I can't tease you about it. He huffs, but I can tell that sort of cheered him up, in a way. Just don't mention it around the group, okay? I make a circle with my fingers in a gesture of acknowledgement. I make sure there is no errant shrubbery around me before directing my muscles to lift my right leg as high up as it will go. It turns out that is barely a 60-degree angle from its stationary position. I hear the wolf snigger. Oh, come on! I am just a sack of furry stone, and even I can kick higher than that. We're two different species. Give me a break! Work for that $1, Jace. Defy species norms and negative stereotypes, as Jasmine says. There are physical limitations here that no third-period social science class can overcome. And I don't think an otter being paid to perform for a wolf's amusement is exactly a progressive act. I believe in you. He says that as saccharine and schmaltzily as possible, eliciting an eye roll from yours truly. I lift my leg, this time bracing my hands underneath my thigh and pushing up. I managed to get the thigh itself much higher, though I'm having trouble fully extending at the knee. Leo notices and steps over, taking my calf and holding the small of my back supportively so I don't tip over. My muscles are starting to burn something fierce, and the position is pretty damn compromising. I frown as hard as I can up at Leo, who bursts into laughter. Okay, now I wish I was filming this, Walter. Dude! I wriggle free, rubbing my now sore leg before continuing onward. True to his word, Leo fishes his wallet out of the back of his jeans and hands me a crisp $1 bill. I pocket the dollar, looking back over toward Leo. Don't I get a tip? The tip comes later. Jesus Christ. I bury my face in my paws, groaning in contrast to the baritone cackling of the wolf beside me. Jokes like that have a whole new meaning after tonight. As I peek through my fingers, I see that the sun has crested the edge of the mountains, and the world is bathed in glimmers of orange. I've been up for nearly 24 hours now, and my body feels more tingled than tired. Or more tingly than tired. We go back. That is a really nice picture. Whoever drew that, really, really well done. That's really pretty. You could probably sell that like at art auction or something. No one would know it's intended to be furry art. We start walking beside the main road now, the lack of vehicle traffic giving an eerie stillness to the desert. Leo walks close to me, to the point where our paws brush against each other from time to time. So, that party. One of Leo's large ears flicks in my direction before he turns, canting his head curiously. Yeah? That wasn't very Day of the Dead-y, was it? He shakes his head. No, it was not. I think some of those deadbeats thought it had to do with the movie. I only really remember celebrating it once in my home country. Though I wouldn't really say it was a celebration, yeah? I just remember my mom, dad, and siblings gathering in a cemetery. We placed orange marigolds in front of the abuelo's grave, lit candles, and ate quesadillas. Quesadillas. Carl would like that last part. So would I, honestly. Quesadillas are good. No shit. The prospect of food actually helped get him over his social anxiety to come with me. I see Leo's face shift to a tight frown. Fuck, man, that party probably made his issue so much worse. They barely had any fucking food, too. Some tool named Robert just brought a bunch of fruit. Better than nothing. But yeah, I remember we just talked about the loved ones who have passed, told stories, and sort of acted like they were there. So, do you actually believe that? Those who have passed can listen in on us when we want them to? He looks up for a moment, the color of the sunrise now matching the hue of his fur. Sweat stains are visible around his armpits, his knuckles are still bloodied, and his head fur is a complete mess. That being said, it is kind of a good look for him. Not so much for yours truly, though. No. His gaze shifts back ahead, his tone neutral. But it helps the living, you know. We still got to get by. A silence hangs between us. It is pretty obvious his mind has drifted to memories of Sydney. Mine as well. This sort of awkwardness is common now. Sharing trauma like that and carrying on like nothing happened is usually our go-to. It has been about 4 years now, and it hasn't gotten any easier. Too many reminders here. We're all fucked up from it. Leo's overprotectiveness, Carl's anxiety, Jasmine's escapism, Flynn's rage, and my hallucinations, and TJ. God, poor TJ. Maybe next year, we could try? Just... Leo looks at me, his eyes meeting my own before drifting to my paw. Slowly he reaches over, grasping mine in his. I just want to move on, to cherish what I got, yeah? I want to... I hear the word forget upon the tip of his tongue, but he can't bring himself to say it aloud. Instead, he squeezes my paw tighter. I squeeze back. My therapist told me that I should talk about it more, but it isn't something that I can just broach in between talk of football and video games. Sure, a shit way to kill any good feelings in the area, that's for sure. Like right now? Alter. He brings our paws up in front of us, forcing me to look at our own interlaced fingers. Seeing the size difference, the red fur gripping my own, is enough to make my neck feel hot and my heart thud heavy. Look at what we're doing right now. We can shoot the sad shit about how tragic everything in Echo is, or we can go against the grain and be happy. I say, let's be fucking happy. Leo smiles down at me, letting our paws fall back to our sides. Despite his motivational wording, I can tell from the gleam in his eyes that he's nervous, his usual confident bravado shaken in this new territory. I don't blame him. They say this sort of thing is supposed to give you a butterflies in your stomach feeling. Yet as we walk along the abandoned Route 65, I feel less like I have butterflies and more like I'm about to jump out of a fucking plane. It isn't that simple, Leo. Well, fuck it. Let's pretend it is for a while and see how that goes. What exactly are you asking for? He rubs his forehead, his fanged teeth briefly gritted. I don't know how to explain it. Just cheer up. That wasn't exactly eloquently put, even by Leo's standards. I haven't eaten anything since lunch, swam or slept in 24 hours. I've been beaten in the head, was unable to save TJ from getting bullied to hell, and my parents caught me looking at gay porn and now will never look at me the same way again. I still have to deal with that. I'm not exactly in the best of mental states at the moment. Though this, I gesticulate to the two of us with a swirl of my free hand, is, helping. Freaking me out for sure, but I'm glad you're here. We'll make all that right. I feel my phone vibrate against my thigh, my heart sinking. I quickly realize, though, that it's just a text message and not another call from my parents. Mom and Dad haven't sent a text in their lives, as far as I know, saying they prefer talk as short text messages can lead to confusion. I do agree with them on that second bit.
Just had gorgonzola salad, and it was delicious. Also, Jazz is fine now. How goes your newly opened closet?
Who is it? I see Leo sort of crane his neck toward my phone, though he quickly recoils as I glance over at him.
Sorry.
It's alright. And it's from Flynn. He tossed a salad. I manage a goofy smile, holding up the screen to Leo. He squints down at it for a moment, then exudes a low, rumbling groan, covering his forehead with his paw. Oh, Matre, you wouldn't shut up about that stupid gonorrhea salad stuff or whatever it's called at lunch today. Apparently, it's got like dried cherries, almonds, and granola clusters mixed in with the lettuce. Oh, no, I should probably read Chasing Flynn. Sorry. Haven't gotten home yet. Got in a fight, saw more hallucinations, and Leo read my text with you.
What an asswipe. You two hook up yet?
You serve it with this expensive pear vinaigrette stuff, though they usually give you a packet of it in the bag of salad itself. What do you mean?
I mean, it sounds really tasty. The most gringo-y food on the planet, but still good. I wasn't eat it by itself, though. I'd need some carne asada on the side, with maybe some cheap-ass cheese bread. I haven't eaten since lunch either, and I'm really fucking hungry. He's a big cock gobbler too. Hence why I sent your musky ass to him and his secret shit party. You two could be all emotionally vulnerable together and shit.
Son of a bitch. Flynn was playing fucking Matchmaker. I look over at Leo, his head tilted to one side and his lips pursed. The thing he does whenever he's really curious about something. He did that same damn face as a little kid, too. usually when he had no idea what we were saying in our language and was feeling left out. Seeing him now like this, I think I actually feel more grateful to Flynn than anything. Still, I'm left with a nagging question. He said you were gay too. Why didn't you tell me?
So, what's happening now?
Me going to the party and confiding to you that I was gay was part of his plan, apparently. I'm asking him why he didn't tell me he was gay.
Really? I feel like I should thank him or something. I don't know. I'd show you eventually anyway.
I bet Jasmine would be squealing when she... I bet Jasmine will be squealing when she hears about all this shit. Show me what?
This is just like one of her comics. The mangas?
Mangas. Oh, Chase is like... You probably don't speak any Japanese, so... Mangas. I don't actually know if she reads yaoi stuff or not.
That's what anime porn with the Twinkie triangle types, right?
I nearly choked trying to contain my laughter. Are you familiar with it, Leo?
How old are you again?
15. Why?
Yeah, of course I'm familiar with it. I got a whole bunch of files with that stuff, that sort of stuff saved in my sample music folder on my PC. Nobody ever looks in there. Never mind.
Weird. What the hell was that about? What? I consider showing Leo the new messages, but he seems sort of distracted now. He looks genuinely happy. I mean, a bit sweaty, fidgety, and blood-splattered. But so am I. The idea of ruining that makes me feel miserable. Though Flynn's whole behavior, knowing everything about him now, is kind of boggling in contrast to his usual self. I exhale, and do my best recombulate. Why? Why is it so hard? Recombobulate. Shifting my attention to the big old wolf currently holding my hand and looking at me expectantly.
Chase. Oh, that's Chase.
Not Leo saying Chase. Don't ever get too comfortable with that sort of thing. I did, and now everything's fucked for me in the eyes of my folks.
Your parents are probably gonna search your phone when you get home. Delete all this.
Will do.
Man, your mom is the nicest lady. I can't imagine her kicking you out or anything.
I'm not worried about that. God, getting kicked out almost sounds preferable to having to face them every day with them having seen me like that. Imagine if your parents found your yaoi folder and how they'd see you from then on.
Well, they shouldn't have been going through my shit in the first place. Don't triple top me. Just do it, dumbass.
I slide my phone back into my pocket. That's enough Flynn for now, I guess.
I think Mama already knows about me being gay, though.
What?
She kept asking me if I liked Jasmine. Like, yeah? It was annoying me, and I just up and said she wasn't my type. Mama kept prodding me with, "Why, Leonardo? She is a smart one, and she has cared for you in your times of need on countless occasions."
I tried to restrain a snicker at Leo's impression of his mother, the accented high-pitched cadence rather right on the nose. Leo hears my suppressed titters, looking down at me with a feigned scowl before hip-bumping me. I nearly go careening off the side of the bike lane into the sagebrush-filled side basin, but he yanks me back by my paw he's holding. I try to imagine Leo and Jasmine together. It makes sense, I guess, but it's weird to think about. Puberty in general has made things so much different. She went on asking what exactly my type was. I think I was frustrated or something at the time. After like a bad practice session, I said, "Not girls." My eyes widen, picturing the confrontation in my mind. Jeez, what happened next? I regretted saying it. Mama could see that plain enough from my mug, yeah? She just clicked her tongue, told me to let her know when I felt like talking more about that. I'm assuming you haven't really followed up on her offer? No, Chess, I have not. There is a silence between us, mostly because I'm trying to think up a response that isn't, well, I have it worse. Before I can speak, we approach what looks like a short, dirt driveway that leads up to a shack of some sort. Leo stops and points towards it. Let's go through here and head to my house through the rear yard. I don't want to deal with Jeremy right now in case he's awake and outside his house. I sincerely doubt that Jeremy and Clint would be out and about being dicks this early on a Saturday, but I don't argue and follow along. Upon closer inspection, it looks like one of those roadside dive bars you see a lot on the reservations. This one boarded up fairly recently. The Joshua trees and the old-timey pickup truck give it an out-of-place feeling. As far as I know, Joshua trees aren't native to this area. Huh. Never heard about this place before. I have. It was open for a little while a year or so ago. Yeah? It would have been the first new business I've heard of around here since I was like 7, I think? Like I said, it didn't last long. Heard from Charlie that the owner got busted for some fucked up shit that Officer Molcop found in the back room. Christ. I mean, this is from Charlie, so I wouldn't believe all of it. Like, what specifically? Leo shrugs, a light frown on his muzzle. I don't know. He wouldn't tell me. We continue moving, Leo kicking an errant bean can along in front of us as we walk. Can't believe Charlie's still alive. Turns out absurd amounts of meth is secret to a long lifespan. Not if I find out you've been taking it, Alter, or shorten your fucking lifespan real quick. He smirks at me and I roll my eyes, glancing back at the side of the abandoned bar as we pass. Keith and Brian's Booth Bastion.
Brian?
Keith? Like the fox Keith? And that Brian? That sadistic son of a bear Brian? Makes sense, I would be doing illegal shit. The sun is now high enough in the sky that I occasionally have to shield my eyes from it as we head due east. Flynn never responded to my text, which is honestly alright with me at the moment. Right now, I'm trying to balance upon one of the rails of the train tracks, whilst Leo does the same on the other. It is made a little more difficult by the fact that we're still holding hands. Each teeter from him yanking me along as well, and vice versa. Despite being, as he puts it, a lump of stones covered in fur. He has a lot more poise than yours truly. I think my tail might be a bit too thick for balance and agility. It's more suited for aquatic usage. That just reminds me how much I could use a swim right now, or at least a bath. I feel like a dusty skeever. I must be smelling musky as all hell at this point. I am a mess. And I'm a mess in front of Leo, who just keeps looking better and better the brighter it gets. I'm worried that he's going to take one long look at me any moment now and realize he's made a mistake. I glance over tentatively, increasingly conscious of how clammy my paw pads are in Leo's grasp. I know we kinda glossed over it earlier, but how do you think the others are actually gonna respond to all this? I nearly fall off the rail, catching myself with one foot on the ground. Technically it's cheating, but this isn't really a competition. What do you mean, all this? He clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth, just like his mom does. I still don't know what exactly that means. Stupido. My gaze falls and I feel my shoulders slump. Lee looks over, his expression turning apologetic, and I can feel his thumb rub the side of my paw. Gal, sorry. I know we're both tired as dirt. Honest though, if I was in bed right now, I wouldn't be able to sleep leaving it all like this. So I guess I just gotta come out and say it all plain like for you, Alter. You're my boyfriend now, right? I blink at hearing the words out loud, though when the moment comes, I don't even hesitate. You're my boyfriend, Leo. His pace on the track slows, then eventually stops outright. He turns, facing me. We stand in the midst of the abandoned passenger carriers, the plants around us mostly dead or dormant for the autumn. I can't help but have this feeling that we clash with our surroundings, alive and new and something dead and decaying. I'm reminded of a word I studied for a Southwestern literature elective I took, the quaz. I think it was quaz. It comes to me as if recited on a recorder in my brain, the short paragraph which I labored to memorize the night before my presentation. Quaz, a noun, both singular and plural, referring to anything strange, incongruous, or peculiar. At its heart is the unknown, the mysterious. It rhymes with Oz. To a traveler, it's often the highest qualistium. That was right. Quaz. For me, everything, whether object, person, or event, when seen clearly in the depths of its existence, in its quiddity, is quaz. And every road, every alley, to all to your parlor. The course of a creek, the track of a comet, are all a route to quaz for any traveler, or any querist willing to question, to go in quest, to ask the cosmic question of the medieval church drama. Quim queritis, whom do you seek, O pilgrim? William Least Heat Moon. Let's be happy. Yeah? Moisture wells within his russet eyes, and I recall the last time I saw Leo cry. It was after what happened at the lake. It was our first day back to school, and he gathered all of our group together. He started out fine, managing simple English and explaining how he promised he was going to protect us all from now on. And then he just kept saying, "I'm sorry," over and over again. Jasmine was the first to step up and hug him. Then Carl, then TJ, then me, and finally Flynn. We held each other outside the road and sobbed. Flynn kept yelling something and seemed more incensed than mourning, but I wasn't listening to his words. Leo bawled until he was hiccuping, wrought with himself. We all did. Eventually, a passerby called one of our parents and we were picked up one by one. The funeral had happened the week before, and our parents thought we were ready to reintegrate, that things were better. It never felt like things got better. But Leo was always there, keeping his promise. Now my eyes brim with tears. I think it might be in part due to our lack of sleep, but I can't hold back. We stare at each other, Leo laughing and wiping his eyes with his palms. You always suck in your cheeks when you're trying not to cry. He reaches up, ruffling my head fur as he does so commonly. I sniff, trying to manage a challenging look, Leo looking blurry in my vision. I let go of his paw, taking him by the front of the shirt and pulling him down to my height. I shut my eyes together and kiss him, my arms trembling as I do so. Large arms envelop me, his grasp first on my wrist, but then upon my face as he holds onto my tear-matted cheeks. I realize I have no idea what I'm doing with regard to kissing. I feel like a fool mushing my face against his, but Leo doesn't laugh. The kiss is over rather quickly, but I embrace him as soon as our muzzles part. I feel his head fur rub into mine, a neediness to his demeanor which I share. We continue to stand, each on our own rail, keeping equilibrium balanced at the center. This makes the hug sort of awkward in structure. It actually reminds me a lot of church pamphlets TJ had that described the proper way to hug someone of the opposite sex. Backs hunched forward, arms around the upper torso, pelvises at least a foot apart from one another. At least we were all good in the eyes of the Lord so far. It feels like several minutes pass, Leo occasionally squeezing me tighter or rubbing his paws across my back. I do the same. The position starts to feel a bit sore, especially with my recent battering, and I pull back. Leo seems to have been caught unawares, waving his arms as he tries to find his balance again. He stumbles and falls off, his rump hitting the sandy gravel beside the track. Oh shit, Leo! You okay, man? I hop down, but in my haste, my foot catches and I topple over onto the big wolf's chest, adding injury to injury. Leo just chuckles, wrapping his arms around my midsection. We meet eye to eye. Clumsy otter. I sigh with relief and kiss him again, briefly, as I'm aware I haven't brushed my teeth in 24 hours as well. He strokes his fingers through my head fur, careful to avoid the bump on the back of my head, before releasing me. I stand, offering a paw to him. He takes it, though just for show, really. He seems to have no problem standing up on his own now. So, before I was rudely interrupted, I asked you how you thought the others will take us, now that we're a couple? We start walking again, this time with Leo leading. He seems to take fancy with an old, rusted crane, the wolf bounding up the stepladder and clambering over it like he's 10 again. So, I think that Jasmine will probably dig it. Flynn will taunt us relentlessly, but harmlessly. TJ will probably be confused, but ultimately happy for us. And Carl will probably be bewildered as all hell and awkward about it. Leo reaches the top of the crane steps. He peeks over the metal to beckon to me. Really? In my head I imagined when I tell Carl I am queer and stuff, he'll just say, "That's gay," and then continue playing his handheld without caring. Nah, he cares. I think. Also, I don't want tetanus. I'm good down here. He nods, making his way back down, his chipper gait and utterly foreign sight as he beams at me. He's slap-happy hyper. What about your parents? Oh, Jesus. One day they catch me with gay porn. The next I have a big-ass Hispanic wolf boyfriend. I don't know, man. I want to tell mine about you. They'd be happy for me. I can't see it, yeah? My eyes drift down to my pockets, the weight of my phone still resting against my thigh. I still have a voicemail from yesterday that they sent me. I haven't listened to it. I see some of his excited demeanor diminish to his usual, more concerned expression. Leo heads over beside me and we continue walking. Chase, whatever they say, you've still got me. He approaches me and stops, his fingertips tapping his hips as he thinks of what to say. You've still got all of us in the group, and if shit got real bad, you could stay with us for a bit. Jasmine does it all the time. Pa and Mama are used to having a house filled with kids, but since most of my siblings moved out, it's just me. TJ's parents would never turn you away either. And Carl, well, God knows that he has enough damn rooms that go unused. His parents are barely ever there. You could be like that one movie where the boy who lived in the walls of the house, making spooky noises at night and eating their gorgonzola. I let out a small chuckle. I remember how Carl used to be really afraid of ghosts a few years ago. I got to hang out with him and play video games as a coping mechanism excuse. Still, now that I have my phone in my hand, I still have that same twisting dread in my gut. I'm just... it's like everything is changing and my head is spinning. My folks will never see me the same again. Well, they won't. Because you're almost a fucking adult, Joyce. The curtness of Leo's tone has me look up from my phone and back to him. It's the yoga. People grow up. And you have. And really handsomely, I gotta say, yeah? I look off to the side. The flattery is making my neck warm, and my cheeks flush. Despite everything, I still can't believe it's Leo who is saying all this to me. The thing is, your parents are gonna love you, no matter what. They're good like that. I know it. I bet my neck. He grasps his throat, looking down at me with bloodshot eyes and a smile. All the shit piles around here are the ones I'm gonna have to worry about. Because no way I'm hiding that I have chased the otter as my boyfriend. And trust me. He raises his large fist in front of me, showing the crimson which still stains his knuckle fur. They try anything or harass you for it, I'll make sure they know the consequences. I shift my focus from Leo's fist to his wild gaze. Man, you need some sleep. Leo blinks and brings his fist back to rub the back of his neck. Fucky idol. He sniffs, rolling his shoulders some before looking back to the phone in my hand. Alright, let's listen to this voicemail, eh? He looks off to the side, sort of muttering embarrassedly under his breath. double jump that sucker and whatnot. It's so cringy, but I feel like I want to kiss him again. I smile wryly at Leo. He just huffs. Fair warning though, you're still probably grounded as hell. I smirk, my chest feeling tight and my mouth dry. Oh yeah, I know that. I get yelled at if I don't call my parents back within 5 minutes anyway. I'll miss you while I'm in lockup though. Leo grins lopsidedly, less wild now. I'll see if I can arrange a conjugal visit or something. I take a deep breath, navigating to the voicemail inbox section. Daddy? I can see Leo's family home in the distance now, some smoke rising up from the backyard. They must be grilling something. Ready? I press play. There it is! How Leo and Chase became a couple. What a night. Yeah, just a night. So this is a fun little short story. I'm actually not sure which route in Route 65 is best to really get an idea of the routes that we've had, because people say the best route is what is it, path? The order of the routes, I guess, is best Carl, then Leo, and then this, because it gives you an idea. And then I think Jenna, TJ, and Flynn. And I can definitely see that after going through all this and having gone through Route 65 before, here on the channel is, like 4 or so separate videos. That is actually really good, because in Jenna's route and Flynn's route... Oh, there's more? Oh, yeah. This is, I didn't see this before. Chase is deleting his history. Good boy, Chase. That's being smart. But, yeah, I don't know which route would actually be the best route for that, because you do get to see little hints every here and there. Jenna's route is really good because you actually see a hint of it. You actually hear about it in her dream in Jenna's route in Echo. She talks about her room because it's got the water heater in it, and the door, I think the door's off the hinges in that too. But yeah, there's so many throwbacks to Route 65 that are really cool, and if you just don't have Route 65 when you start going into Jenna's route and Flynn's route, you have no idea what the hell's going on. So yeah. Plus, it helps that Route 65 is like about half of what a route in Echo is. And you do get to learn a little bit more about each character. And the writing here, I think I said it before, is just great. It makes me feel like I'm a kid again. It sounds like the stuff kids would say. So they did really good channeling their inner kid. So kudos to everyone that wrote. I didn't read who it was. Although it's probably options. Probably do credits, but... What are you even in here? Are there secrets I just don't know of? Don't click off. But I guess not. Help? What's in help? A readme. Okay. Well, that's going to do it. Thank you, everyone, for listening and or watching, or actually both. And hopefully you like these big, long videos. If you do, give it a like, and hit me up in the comment section. Tell me you like these longer videos. And I can adjust the content. Because that was the original idea of the channel. Just have something in the background that you can throw on and just keep doing your thing. Either it be someone yapping, Or just someone reading a script like this and fucking it up constantly. Now you know what I have to edit out all the time because I can't talk. I can't talk good. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching along, reading along, experiencing Route 65 again. Let me know if you'd like me to do another one and who. And until then, thank you again. Bye.